The sun barely pierced the thick clouds above the colony on planet Viridia. Dust and smoke rose from the cracked metal platforms, mixing with the mist from the canyon below. Lena, a single mother, adjusted the strap of her bag and hurried toward the outer courtyard. A crowd had gathered, whispering nervously, pointing at the massive figure lying among broken metal and scorched ground. The dragon was huge, its scales dull and cracked, wings folded limply against its sides. A low, painful groan escaped its throat, shaking the ground slightly. The creature had been the pride of the colony for decades, a protector and symbol of hope. Now it was dying. Experts had tried everything, medicine, alien herbs, energy stabilizers, but nothing worked. Lena felt a pang in her chest. She had heard the whispers that no one could save it, that even the colony's best minds had failed. She pushed through the crowd, ignoring the skeptical stares. "Move aside," she said softly but firmly. People parted quickly. They knew Lena was not easily deterred. She knelt near the dragon, letting her eyes scan its enormous body. Its chest rose and fell unevenly, a sick rhythm. One of its eyes opened slightly, revealing a deep, intelligent amber gaze filled with pain and fear. "Sure, I'm here," Lena whispered, reaching out cautiously. Her hand hovered above a large scale on its side, feeling warmth and faint tremors. She had no guarantee this would work, but she refused to let the dragon die without trying. The colony's chief medic, Dr. Varen, shook his head. "Lena, you can't do this. You're risking your life, and it won't work. We've tried everything." "I have to try," Lena replied firmly. "If no one acts, it will die." Her voice carried a quiet strength that drew the attention of the watchers. Some stepped closer, curious. Others looked away in fear. Lena examined the dragon carefully. She noticed small injuries the experts had missed. Tiny burns along its wing membranes, cracks and scales near its heart, and faint signs of an energy imbalance in its blood flow. She murmured softly, "Try to read its pain." The dragon's groans intensified slightly, almost as if it understood that she meant no harm. "Okay, girl," Lena whispered. "Let's see if we can fix this." She began removing a small med kit from her bag, along with some energy stabilizers she had been experimenting with. Her hands moved carefully, precise and calm. The crowd watched silently, holding their breath. She applied a thin layer of healing gel along the dragon's wings, pressing gently into the cracks in the scales. The creature flinched at first, then seemed to relax slightly, sensing her calm touch. Lena worked quickly but carefully, cleaning small wounds, massaging tense muscles, and administering a stabilizing energy pulse. She spoke softly all the while, murmuring words of comfort, a habit she had learned from caring for her own child. Minutes passed. The dragon's groans became weaker, then steadier. Its breathing slowed, chest rising and falling more evenly. Lena's heart raced. She knew the battle was far from over, but the signs were encouraging. For the first time, the dragon's amber eyes seemed to focus on her, not with fear, but with recognition. Dr. Varen stepped closer, eyebrows raised. I don't understand," he muttered. "How are you doing this?" Lena shook her head. "I'm not sure. Maybe it's not just medicine. Maybe it's trust, patience, care." She glanced at the dragon, whose massive head rested lightly on the ground near her knees. Its wings twitched slightly, responding to her gentle adjustments. The crowd began to murmur softly. Some whispered words of hope. The dragon had survived storms, attacks, and environmental hazards, yet it was vulnerable now. If Lena failed, it would die. If she succeeded, it could live to protect the colony again. The stakes were immense, but Lena did not falter. Hours seemed to pass in minutes as she worked, methodically adjusting her treatment, responding to every subtle sign from the dragon. She noticed small twitches in its tail, shifts in its breathing, and changes in its eye color. Each detail mattered. Every movement required patience and intuition, qualities humans often relied on when technology alone could not help. Finally, the dragon let out a long, low exhale. Its wings stretched slightly, muscles relaxing. Lena smiled faintly. She didn't celebrate yet. The creature was not fully healed, but it was stabilizing. The dragon lifted its massive head, regarding her with eyes that seemed to understand gratitude. She felt a warmth in her chest. This was a reward for courage, ingenuity, and determination, the human spirit in action. Dr. Varen approached cautiously. I've never seen anything like this, he admitted. You may actually save it. Lena nodded, brushing dust from her jacket. We're not done yet, but it's not impossible. It just needs care, patience, and courage. She looked down at the dragon, and for a moment, the world outside the courtyard seemed to fade. There was only her, the child she had left at home hours ago, and this magnificent creature trusting her completely. The colony held its breath, watching as Lena continued her work. Experts had failed, machines had failed, and even alien caretakers had given up. But one human, a single mother, refused to quit. Her ingenuity, courage, and heart were proving stronger than any tool, any technology, any expectation. The dragon's groan softened further. It lifted a wing slightly, trembling but steady. Lena whispered softly, encouraging it. That's it. Keep going, you'll be okay. And in that moment, Lena knew something extraordinary. The human spirit, combined with care, intelligence, and bravery, could succeed where all else had failed. She had not only stabilized the dragon, she had begun to save it, and she would not stop until it was fully healed, alive, and soaring again. Outside, the wind howled across the canyon, but inside, hope had taken root. One human had refused to give up. One brave mother had faced impossible odds. And for the dying dragon, that was enough to keep fighting. The morning light filtered through the cracks in the colony walls, casting faint shadows on the scorched ground where the dragon lay. Lena had stayed through the night, never leaving its side. Her hands were sore, her clothes dusty and stained, but she did not care. The dragon's shallow breaths and weak movements demanded her full attention. Every minute mattered. She knelt beside the massive creature, studying it closely. Its wings, torn and battered, lay folded awkwardly against its sides. The scales along its spine were cracked, and faint traces of energy burns ran across its chest. Even the alien caretakers had given up on treating it. But Lena refused to believe that. "You can make it," she whispered softly, brushing a hand along a dull patch of scales. The dragon's amber eye twitched slightly, watching her. Lena felt a spark of connection, a quiet understanding passing between them. She had learned to listen to subtle signs, tiny twitches, shifts in breathing, slight changes in color. The dragon was trying to communicate in its own way. Lena took a deep breath and opened her kit. Most of the supplies had been used or were broken, but she had salvaged a few vials of energy stabilizer, some healing gels, and a portable injector. Experts had relied too much on machines, on technology. She would rely on careful observation, patience, and human intuition. As she worked, she noticed something others had missed. A faint, rhythmic pulse in the dragon's chest, almost like a heartbeat pattern that shifted slightly with external light. It was subtle, but it meant the creature's body was still fighting. Lena's resolve strengthened. She could help it. She had to help it. Hours passed as she applied the stabilizers, massaged tense muscles, and monitored its breathing. She spoke softly all the while, murmuring words of comfort. Sometimes she would sing a quiet melody from her home planet, a lullaby her child loved, and the dragon seemed to respond, calming slightly under her voice. The other colonists whispered in awe. No one had seen this method tried before. Dr. Varen, the chief medic, watched from a distance. "Lena, you can't keep doing this alone. It's dangerous," he called softly. "Let me handle it." "I've tried your methods," Lena replied calmly. "They don't work. The dragon needs care, not machines. It needs someone to understand it, not just fix it like a tool." Her voice held a quiet authority. The crowd of watchers murmured agreement. Humans had always adapted, using courage, creativity, and empathy where technology fell short. The dragon stirred, weakly lifting its head. Lena moved closer, letting it feel her warmth. She noticed its eyes flicker toward the vial in her hand, then back to her face. Trust. The dragon was trusting her, even after the failures of others. That trust carried a weight that Lena felt deeply. She would not fail it. Suddenly, one of the wings twitched sharply, a warning. Lena paused, hands hovering in the air. The dragon growled softly, low and weak. "It's okay," she whispered, calming it with gentle tones. Slowly, carefully, she adjusted the wing, applying a thin layer of gel to the torn membrane. Every movement was precise, cautious, and intentional. Minutes turned to hours. The colony's sun climbed high, and Lena barely noticed. She was focused entirely on the dragon, observing it, listening to it, responding to every subtle signal. Her intuition guided her more than any machine could. She noticed tiny fluctuations in its breathing, small flickers of energy along its scales. Each sign told her that her method was working, slowly, carefully, inch by inch. By midday, the dragon's chest rose more steadily, its breathing less ragged. Lena felt a swell of hope, but remained cautious. One mistake could undo all progress. She adjusted its posture, whispered encouragements, and continued applying the stabilizer and healing gels. Each touch was gentle, careful, yet firm, reinforcing trust while promoting recovery. The other colonists began to gather more confidently. They whispered to one another, noting how Lena's patience and care were producing results that no expert, machine, or alien healer could achieve. Humans, when guided by courage, ingenuity, and empathy, could overcome even the most impossible challenges. Lena embodied this truth, showing the colony what it meant to act with heart and intelligence. As the afternoon wore on, the dragon lifted its head more fully. It turned slightly to face Lena, its amber eyes locking onto hers. She smiled faintly, feeling a bond deepen. The creature had endured centuries, faced storms and predators, yet it had survived. Now, it relied on her, not on machines, not on experts, but on human bravery and understanding. Lena knelt beside it, murmuring softly, "We're going to make it. Together." The dragon's wing lifted slightly, trembling, but following her gentle guidance. She pressed her hand against its chest, feeling the slow but steady rhythm of life returning. By evening, the dragon's breathing had evened out. Its wound stabilized, and its eyes, once filled with pain and fear, now held a faint glimmer of recognition and trust. Lena straightened, exhausted but resolute. She had refused to give up, refused to let the creature die when all others had failed. She had relied on human courage, intuition, and heart, and it had worked. The crowd watched silently, a mix of awe and respect in her eyes. Lena had proven what humans could achieve when they refused to give in to fear, doubt, or convention. She had become more than a medic. She was a symbol of human ingenuity, empathy, and persistence. The dragon shifted its massive head, nudging her gently with its snout. Lena smiled, tears welling in her eyes. She whispered, "We'll get through this. I promise." The creature responded with a soft, low chirp, as if acknowledging her vow. In that moment, Lena knew one truth clearly. Humans could achieve the impossible when they acted with heart, courage, and intelligence. She had saved the dragon when everyone else had failed, and she would continue until it was strong again. Outside, the wind howled over the canyon, carrying dust and whispers of hope. Inside, a single mother and a dying dragon had formed a bond that would not be broken, a bond that would prove that humanity's greatest strength lay not in machines or knowledge alone, but in courage, patience, and heart. Lena stayed with the dragon as the sun began to sink behind the canyon walls. Its breathing had evened out slightly, but she knew it was not enough. The wounds were serious, the energy balance unstable. Every expert had tried, and every expert had failed. Machines and alien medicine had not worked. Only humans, with their courage and creativity, could find another way. She knelt beside the massive creature, studying it carefully. Its wings were torn in multiple places. The scales along its spine cracked, and energy burns traced faint lines across its chest. Lena had observed everything. Its subtle movements, the way it reacted to touch, the rhythm of its pulse. Something clicked in her mind. Perhaps the solution was not in one medicine or method, but a combination. Something flexible, adaptable, human. She rummaged through her bag and pulled out vials, gels, and a portable injector. She also grabbed a piece of flexible metal she had salvaged earlier. Ideas ran through her mind quickly. Machines had tried to repair the wings directly and failed. Alien healers had applied medicine too broadly, causing shocks. Lena needed something gentle, precise, and clever. Something that would let the dragon heal without overwhelming its body. "I think I know what we need," she whispered. The dragon shifted slightly, lifting a weak wing. Its amber eyes seemed to watch her closely, as if it understood she was trying something new. She smiled faintly. "Trust me, I won't let you fail." Lena worked quickly but carefully. She used a flexible metal to create a light frame for the torn wings, almost like a scaffold. Then she applied the healing gel in layers, pressing gently to fill cracks without causing pain. She adjusted the energy stabilizer, using small pulses to balance the dragon's body without shocking it. Her hands moved with precision, guided by observation and intuition. The first attempt was tentative. The dragon flinched slightly at the frame, but Lena spoke softly, murmuring reassurances. Slowly, it relaxed, letting her continue. The scaffold held, supporting the wings as the healing gel began to seep into the cracks. Lena watched carefully for any signs of distress. Every movement, every subtle twitch, told her whether she was succeeding or failing. Hours passed. The dragon's breathing grew steadier, and its eyes began to focus more clearly on her. She realized that the energy balance she had created with the stabilizer was beginning to work, but the wings were still fragile. One wrong move, one miscalculation, could tear them further. Lena's mind raced with every possibility. Then, a new problem appeared. The energy readings from the dragon's chest spiked suddenly. The stabilizer was overloading slightly, and the creature twitched violently. Lena froze for a moment, thinking fast. She recalibrated the pulses, reducing the intensity but increasing precision. She whispered calmly, "We can do this, stay with me." The dragon's eyes softened, almost as if it understood. The scaffold shifted slightly as Lena adjusted the wing. She pressed the gel again, smoothing it carefully over cracks. Slowly, steadily, the wing began to hold its shape. The energy readings stabilized. Lena exhaled softly, but she did not relax completely. The second wing was still fragile, and the dragon's strength was not fully returned. Night fell, and the colony grew quiet. Lena worked tirelessly, rotating between wings, checking the dragon's pulse, and adjusting the energy pulses. Her hands were sore, her back ached, and her eyes stung, but she refused to stop. This was her responsibility. Every human instinct, every ounce of courage and ingenuity she had, was needed now. Finally, she reached the last adjustments. The wings were aligned, the gel fully absorbed, and the energy pulses stabilized. The dragon lifted its head slowly and stretched one wing tentatively. It trembled but held. Lena's heart raced with hope. She encouraged it softly, applying gentle pressure along the wing's edges. It responded, lifting both wings slightly. Small, careful movements, but the first signs of real strength. Dr. Varen approached cautiously, watching silently. "I can't believe it," he muttered. "It's working. How did you do this?" Lena shook her head. It wasn't magic. It was observation, patience, and careful thinking. Machines failed because they couldn't adapt. Experts failed because they didn't understand the dragon's needs. Humans, careful, creative humans, can find solutions where others can't. Her voice carried quiet pride, but she remained focused. The dragon was not fully healed yet, and she would not let her guard down. The dragon lifted its head fully and flapped its wings slightly. The sound was weak, but it resonated through the courtyard. Lena stepped back, giving it space, and it stretched again. She smiled softly. Her plan had worked. She had created a method combining human ingenuity, careful observation, and empathy. It was not easy, but it was enough to give the dragon a chance to survive. The colony watched in awe. Humans had succeeded where technology and experts had failed. Lena, a single mother, had proven the strength of courage, heart, and intelligence. She had saved the dying dragon, not through force or tools, but through clever thinking, careful action, and trust. The dragon's amber eyes met hers. It lowered its head slightly, nudging her gently. Lena smiled, exhausted but triumphant. "You're going to be okay," she whispered. "We'll make it through this together." Outside, the wind howled over the cliffs, but inside, hope had returned. Lena had found a solution no one else had thought possible. Humans, with their courage, creativity, and determination, could achieve the impossible. And tonight, a single mother had proven it. Night had fallen over the colony, and the wind howled through the empty streets and cracked platforms. Lena remained beside the dragon, exhausted but determined. The wings were stabilizing thanks to her unique solution, and the energy pulses she had carefully calibrated were holding. She allowed herself a brief moment to rest, leaning against a sturdy pillar, when a sudden alarm echoed through the colony. A warning light flashed on the nearby console. Scanners had detected movement approaching the perimeter, rival scavengers. They were known for attacking the colony to capture rare alien creatures, and the dragon, now vulnerable, would be a prize beyond measure. Lena's heart pounded. She had worked tirelessly to save it, and now danger loomed once more. "We're not done yet," she whispered to the dragon, brushing a soft hand along its massive snout. The creature lowered its head slightly, a quiet acknowledgement of her words. Lena knew that she could not rely on weapons alone. She needed to use her mind, ingenuity, and courage to protect the dragon while ensuring it completed its recovery. She scanned the surroundings quickly. The colony's defenses were minimal in this sector. The scavengers could reach the dragon in minutes. Lena took a deep breath. There was no time for hesitation. She needed a plan that would protect the dragon, deter the intruders, and allow her to finish stabilizing the wings. She grabbed loose panels and wires scattered around the courtyard. Using them, she rigged simple traps. Trip wires connected to small energy pulses and clanging metal plates. Nothing deadly, just enough to confuse and slow any intruders. Her human ingenuity shone here. She improvised with what she had, using intelligence and quick thinking rather than weapons. The first scavenger appeared, a shadow moving across the broken platforms. It stepped on a panel, and a loud clanging sound startled it. Lena stayed crouched behind the dragon, her hand on its wing, murmuring softly. The dragon flinched but remained calm under her guidance. The trap worked. The scavenger hesitated, scanning for threats. Two more appeared, approaching from another angle. Lena adjusted another panel, sending a spark and a loud clang toward them. They jumped back, confused. She whispered to the dragon, "Almost there. Hold on." The creature's breathing was steady, and the wings, though still fragile, were holding shape. Lena's careful timing and understanding of movement kept both her and the dragon safe. The scavengers regrouped, realizing that the dragon was being protected. They advanced cautiously, but Lena had prepared further. She used portable energy stunners she had salvaged, firing small bursts near the intruder's feet. The sparks and noise forced them to retreat temporarily. Lena's heart raced, but she stayed calm, her human determination unwavering. Meanwhile, the dragon began to stir, lifting its massive head fully. It flapped its wings slightly, testing strength. Lena encouraged it softly. "You can do it, we can do it together." The dragon's amber eyes met hers, filled with trust. It extended a wing carefully, and Lena guided it, ensuring the metal scaffold and healing gel held steady. The intruders, growing bolder, tried to approach again. Lena knew she could not hold them off forever. She needed a solution that relied on human cunning, not brute force. She picked up a reflective panel, angling it toward the lights and sensors of the approaching drones. The glare blinded them temporarily, causing confusion and hesitation. It was enough time for her to reposition and reinforce the dragon's wings. With careful precision, she finished applying the final layer of healing gel and reinforced the wing scaffold. The dragon stretched fully, wings trembling but supported. She activated the final energy stabilizer pulse, allowing it to flow through the wings evenly. Slowly, the dragon flexed both wings, testing strength. Lena held her breath. Then, with a loud, powerful exhale, the dragon lifted slightly off the ground. The wings held firm. Sparks flew from her traps as the scavengers attempted one last approach. But the dragon flapped again, stronger this time, creating wind gusts that knocked them back. Lena smiled faintly, relief washing over her. She had not only healed the wings, but she had protected the creature from external threats using ingenuity, courage, and quick thinking. The scavengers retreated completely, realizing the dragon was too formidable and the traps too clever. Lena breathed heavily, brushing sweat from her brow. She knelt beside the dragon, which lowered its head to rest gently against her shoulder. She whispered softly, "We did it. You're safe now." The colony watchers approached carefully, awe in their eyes. Dr. Varen spoke first. I never imagined it could be done. You saved it and protected it against attackers." Lena shook her head. "It wasn't just me. The dragon trusted me, and I trusted it. We worked together. Courage, patience, and intelligence. That's what mattered." The dragon spread its wings fully, shaking off the last tremors of weakness. It looked down at Lena, eyes glowing warmly. She placed a hand on the metal scaffold, feeling the warmth beneath her fingers. She had created something human ingenuity could achieve. Protection, healing, and trust combined. Night fell fully and the wind was calm. The dragon stood, wings extended, strong again. Lena's hands were sore, her body exhausted, but her heart was full. She had faced the impossible, healing the dragon, stabilizing it, and protecting from threats that everyone else had feared. Humans, she realized, could triumph with intelligence, courage, and heart where technology and experience alone had failed. The dragon nudged her gently with its snout, then lifted into the air slowly, testing the wings. Lena watched, smiling softly. It circled the courtyard, flapping steadily, then landed gracefully. She knelt beside it, tired but triumphant. Outside, the wind howled softly, carrying whispers of hope and amazement through the colony. In that quiet moment, Lena realized the truth she had always believed. Humans could face danger with courage, act with intelligence, and achieve what others deemed impossible. She had saved the dragon when everyone else had failed, proving that ingenuity, bravery, and heart were humanity's greatest strengths. The dragon lowered its massive head to her shoulder again, trusting her completely. Lena whispered softly, "We made it together." And in that moment, the colony saw something extraordinary. A single human, a mother, had done what no expert or machine could, standing strong in the face of danger and proving the power of the human spirit. The sun rose over the colony, casting golden light across the metal platforms and dusty streets. The dragon stood proudly in the central courtyard, wings fully healed and shimmering under the sunlight. Its massive body towered over the small human figures gathered below, yet it seemed calm, almost reverent. Lena knelt beside it, brushing a hand along its warm scales, feeling a sense of pride and relief. The colony's leaders and citizens had gathered. Humans, aliens, and caretakers crowded the area, eyes wide with awe. Word had spread quickly. The dragon, once dying, had been saved by a single mother. No expert, no machine, no technology had succeeded where Lena had prevailed. The crowd was silent for a moment, as if holding its collective breath, then began to murmur in admiration. Dr. Varen approached slowly, his usual skepticism replaced with awe. I can't believe it," he said. "You actually saved it, and you did it all alone." Lena shook her head, brushing dust from her jacket. "I didn't do it alone," she replied softly. "The dragon and I worked together. We trusted each other, and we used courage, patience, and care. That's what made the difference." The dragon lowered its massive head slightly, nudging Lena gently with its snout. Its amber eyes glowed warmly, almost as if acknowledging her words. The crowd gasped quietly, seeing the bond between human and dragon. It was not just survival that Lena had achieved, but connection. Trust had triumphed where tools and machines had failed. A senior caretaker, one of the oldest aliens in the colony, stepped forward. "This human has shown us the strength of courage and heart," she said. "Where experts failed, she succeeded. This is a lesson for all of us. Humanity is not measured by technology alone, but by heart, intelligence, and determination." Lena smiled faintly, humble but proud. She knelt beside the dragon, now fully recovered, and whispered softly, "You're safe. You can fly again." The dragon lifted its wings and stretched them wide, testing their strength. The scaffolding Lena had built was no longer needed. The creature was whole once more. Outside, the wind swept the canyon, carrying dust and whispers of admiration. Children who had watched from the safety of the colony walls cheered softly. Some ran forward, wanted to touch the dragon, but Lena held up a hand. "Careful," she said gently. "It's still recovering from its injuries." The dragon lowered its head so the children could reach its scales safely, its trust in Lena allowing them a rare, peaceful moment. The crowd slowly approached, offering nods of respect and words of gratitude. Scientists who had once doubted her looked at Lena with new understanding. Engineers and alien caretakers nodded in appreciation. Humans had proven something extraordinary. Courage, cleverness, and empathy could achieve what brute force or advanced technology could not. Lena's child ran toward her, laughing. "Mom, it's okay." The dragon lifted its massive head, and the child touched its scales carefully. Lena watched them together, smiling softly. The bond she had built between herself, her child, and the dragon symbolized hope, trust, and humanity's enduring spirit. Dr. Varen stepped forward again, holding a small device. "We want to honor you," he said. "Your method, your courage, your heart, it saved the dragon and proved that humans are capable of greatness. We will study it, learn from it, and share it with the colony." Lena shook her head gently. "No need for devices," she said. "You just need to remember that humans care, humans think, and humans will never give up. That's enough." Her words carried the quiet authority of someone who had faced the impossible and triumphed. The dragon let out a low, powerful roar, wings lifting high. The sound echoed through the canyon, carrying far and wide. It was not a roar of anger, but of life, of victory, and of trust. The crowd gasped, then erupted in quiet applause. Lena knelt beside the creature, feeling its warmth and strength. It had survived because of human courage, intelligence, and heart. The caretaker spoke once more. "Let this day remind us that humanity's greatest strength lies not in machines or tools, but in action guided by compassion, intelligence, and bravery. Today, a single mother has proven what humans can do when they refuse to give up." Lena looked around at the colony. Broken structures were being repaired. Workers moved carefully across the platforms, and scouts monitored the distant horizon. Life continued, but with new hope. The dragon would soar again, a living testament to human ingenuity and courage. The dragon nudged Lena once more and lowered its head, allowing her to place her hand on its chest. She felt the steady, strong heartbeat beneath her palm, a rhythm of life she had helped restore. Her heart swelled with pride and relief. She had saved the dragon when all others had failed. Humans had triumphed not through technology, not through power, but through courage, creativity, and care. The sun fully rose over the canyon, lighting the dragon's scales in brilliant colors. Lena stood beside it, her child by her side. Together, they had proven that hope, intelligence, and courage could overcome any obstacle. The dragon flapped its wings once, twice, then lifted into the air slowly, circling above the colony. Lena watched, a quiet smile on her face. The creature soared high, free and strong, because of human ingenuity, determination, and heart. The colony erupted in celebration, cheering for the dragon and for Lena, the single mother who had achieved what no one else could. She knelt beside her child, holding their hand, and whispered softly, "We did it. We proved what humans are capable of." The dragon landed gently, lowering its head in acknowledgement, and Lena realized the truth fully. Humans, small and ordinary in appearance, could achieve greatness through courage, care, and intelligence. Her bond with the dragon, her careful planning, and unwavering bravery had saved a life that no one else could. And in that moment, humanity triumphed, not through weapons, machines, or authority, but through heart, ingenuity, and the courage to never give up. The dragon roared softly again, a sound of life, hope, and trust, a sound that would echo through the canyon and through the hearts of all who had witnessed this extraordinary act of bravery.